see, I put the YouTube live on. Here. Ask me anything. Let's talk about. Ask me anything. Let's talk. Hey, hello, yes, Trump. Trump. Everybody, okay, so say hi from Russia. Oh, there's a Magger. I was wondering where you guys are hiding. Okay, yeah. I do believe in Trump, you know. Double tap that screen if you love Trump. And a lot of people are talking about Trump and they're saying, hey, can any people give me the name of a successful Trump business? Well, he built the towers and Trump actually controls many, controls many properties, okay? And he he has properties that he controls and land and stuff like that. So most of his money, okay, is in real estate, all right? And when they have a lot of money like that, they borrow, okay? And so that way they don't have to pay taxes. So save $1 million, you can borrow against that, okay, and get loans, and then you won't have to pay taxes and stuff like that. And then by having land, okay, he can borrow against that, okay? He can get, double mortgages and all that kind of stuff. So that's how Trump has his property. And then also Trump started the crypto company, okay? And with that, he made billions, okay? That is. So yeah, look at True Social. You can look at True Social, okay? And you can look at True Social like that, okay? So we're gonna we'll take a look at that, and we'll see what's going on. Okay, there our properties are successful. Are you sure you have looked at the books of Saudi Arabia and giving him a lot of money? Yeah, his golf course. Okay, his golf course actually lost their liquor license. Okay, so he's waiting for it. Name some other successful businesses. Mark, if you know any, that's that. Oh, you're here from Russia. Yeah, what's good, Biggie? How is it out there in Russia, man? Are you in a good area, or are you in an area that is stuck in war and stuff like that? Because what we're thinking is when they're gonna end the war, all right, the areas that Putin, okay, ended up occupying in Ukraine, they're probably gonna give him, okay. 2016, yeah, Trump's first thing. Now Trump is in his second thing, so he's probably going to end up doing a third term, and it's going to be the first president ever to do a third term. What do you guys think about that? Okay, what do you guys think about that? About Trump doing a third term? Okay, so that's what people think that he's going to do. It's only worth 180 million. Okay, what? Donald Trump will be losing Trump Towers. Okay, so is Trump Towers only worth 100 million? Yeah, I do look a little scary, right? You know, you can if you can see it too. Half my face is flat too, and that's because I was in an accident and everything was knocked out, and I'm gonna have some reconstruction with my eye that happened. Yeah, Trump 2028. So we think that Trump is actually going to make a rule where presidents could do a third term. What do you guys think about that? Okay. Yeah, let's look at Truth Social because, all right, so the phone that I'm on, I have to actually download Truth Social, so we can do that, okay? Okay, so no successful business? Yeah, Truth Social because that's costing 400 million a year to run. How? Okay, so to run Truth Social, so it's costing him money to run. So is he making money or people paying for advertisements, or how is Truth Social actually benefiting him? Okay, what do you think? How is Truth Social actually benefiting him, and why do you think he made Truth Social? You know, you know how X has community notes and stuff like that. They're trying to make that. Elon Musk is trying to make X an all-around app, social app, payment app. You could talk on it, videos, okay, all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens with that, okay. And the vice president, she just lost her Secret Service protection, okay, Kamala Harris. All right. So Biden signed a thing saying usually they get 6 months after office. Okay. Biden signed a contract giving her 1 year, and Trump actually shut that down. Okay. Yeah, open the borders back up. Well, what happened with the borders is Biden let a bunch of people in. Okay. And right now, what's happening is all the people that came in, they went and they actually worked on a lot of the farms. So right now, a lot of the people that got taken off the farms and immigrants, okay, they're having problems on the farms and they're losing crops, So that's what's going on. If you like Trump, double tap, okay, and then type in the chat too, okay, if you have any questions or you want to talk about something, double tap the screen, mad love and respect, all right, and then what we'll do here is, okay, I'm going to start going live and we'll start talking about a lot of different things. And I'm also looking for moderators to help too. So the more you chat in there, we'll get moderators and we're gonna blow this channel up. Right now we got almost 6K people, okay, subscribers, and then we want to get up, so we can talk about all kinds of things, politics. God bless the people with common sense. Yes, having common sense, right? Knowing, right from wrong and all that kind. Don't support evil, okay? If you look, a lot of people are, what's some things you like about Trump? Well, people are hating Trump, okay? But I think the whole thing with the border and, people, wanting to. Right now, there's an app that people that are illegal here, they can go on the app and it will pay for them to go home and then give them a chance to come back and be a citizen. They should really promote that, okay, if people want to become citizens. Because right now, there's a lot of things that are happening in Mexico, so they come over here, to get work and then send money to their family, or come here and have kids, and then when they have kids here, the kids are citizens. What do you think about that? Yeah, everything, right? Everything, so that's what we think, So yeah, share the stream. Let's get more people, and we could talk politics. And then also, I love talking about all the scientific discoveries. Okay, what manner of man is the wind and seas obey him? Okay. Yeah. So, people are, Trump and the billionaires right now are, so what Trump did is his whole office, he tried to, organize it with people that would be able to control the country properly. So the things that he's doing actually needed to be done, especially with tariffs, because America is losing out, right? So they made billions off of tariffs already, okay, and that can pay down the debt, right? Then they have the cryptocurrency treasury. They're not buying any more crypto, but they're holding it, okay? And what I'm saying is, where's Bitcoin going to be at 5 years, right? Then they're going to start selling some off and bringing down the national debt. And something I also see too is I do see prices coming down on certain things, okay? I see restaurant prices coming down and prices in the stores coming down, you know? And also, I think they're going to do some rate cuts, okay? And we're going to see some good stock market towards the end of the year, okay? In November into December. So, what I'm doing is I'm waiting for, the bottoms, okay, DCA. And then also for the stock market, you want to get in stocks, okay, when you see they're down, and you want to be in stocks that pay dividends, okay? And if you're buying crypto, the best times is watch the news, and when you hear, oh, Bitcoin's down, okay, and you hear bad sentiment, that's the time for you to buy, okay? People get FOMO, and when they talk like, oh my God, Bitcoin's up, people buy it, right? When it's up high, all right? It always has volatility, okay? So what I do is I watch, okay? And when I hear information that it's going down or the stock market's down a certain percentage, that's it. Okay, I'm waiting for the price of perks to go down, then America would be. Are you talking about medication and pharmaceuticals? Yeah, I think that also the pharmaceutical companies, okay, are making so much money off of selling the pharmaceuticals. And if you guys watch regular TV, you see constant commercials about all these different medications, okay? Now that they have AI, okay, they're actually going to be able to produce so many more medications because when they do studies with all the different molecules, it takes time. They're utilizing AI, okay, to shorten that time and also do simulations and studies, right? Double tap that screen if you agree, right? That's basically what it is, pharmaceutical companies. And then also, they were talking about the car insurance. Right now, and before, car insurance asked your age and all this different kind of stuff, which is irrelevant, okay? Now they can't ask that, and they can't get that extra commission, because when you buy car insurance, okay, and then you're going through different companies, the car insurance itself is cheap, but those companies are getting that commission, So you can actually go through and get, car insurance, and, like full coverage. I'm paying $28 a month, all right, for full coverage. And you can go directly through these companies, all right? When you say the price of perks, are you meaning like, the medications and stuff like that? And they call him king. Yes. So when I'm on social media and you see a lot of people smashing Trump, that's actually getting it out and people are talking more about it, right? So any kind of publicity is good publicity, bad and good. But if you watch over history, just think about it. All the people that had bad publicity or something like that, and it gets out there and everybody starts talking about, oh my God, it gets people talking, all right? And that's what happened. Now, he signed the big, beautiful bill, okay? And, that's going to add to the America's debt. But the things that they're going to be paying for in the big, beautiful bill, all right, will be able to, in the long run, lower the national debt, lower inflation, and we'll also see stock market increases, okay? So towards the end of the year, we're going to see the NASDAQ, the S&P hitting more all-time highs, and also commodities, gold and silver. So right now, gold is up high. The next thing you're going to see is silver, all right? So I started buying in silver. Then you got the dollar, okay? The dollar is going digital. So what's going to happen is these banks are going to be doing withdrawals, and it's all going to go digital. So the whole banking industry, we're going to see what's going to happen all next year, 2026, because in the bills they sign with stable coins, all right? Because using stable coins on the blockchain is instant when you send it, okay? Right now, banks, when you get money, you gotta wait 3 to 7 days. Oh, you're saying hello when they have long fingernails? So there's different things that they can do. Just think about it, bidets, okay? And then also, stuff like that. You're saying long fingernails, just think about it. Ask AI, hey, hi, Jasmine, Zena, what if there was quicksand? Well, quicksand, okay, is like, sand, but it has like, underneath it, water coming up, okay? And then it makes it to like a mud, and when you step in it, okay, you sink into it, and because it's wet also, and you try to move, anytime you make, like, if you go into it and you move your foot or your fingers, it fills right back up, and you get stuck in the quicksand, and you keep the sink, So that's what you're talking about as quicksand, okay? And the reason I was talking about the spirituality question, too, is because you really need to get in touch with yourself, right? So no matter who you are, what you're doing, okay, everybody has their own things going on in their life, okay? And when you're talking to somebody, you don't know what's going on or what they're going through, okay? You just got to utilize your socialization skills, how to talk to people and so on, right? So if you're calling somebody and you need something from them, all right, you want to make sure you give compliments. You want to make sure you thank them, okay? Because a lot of people don't do that, and then they'll remember that, all right? And you want to relate to them. And if it's like when I talk to somebody, I say, oh, I hope you had a good holiday. And then I'm like, oh, I hope your night is good after work, stuff like that. You have to use your socialization skills, not give your spirituality, So that's what I was talking about. A lot of people seem to be talking about politics. Hey, if there was a gun trap, we will shoot on robber he saved. Hey, what if there was a gun? Well, he shoot on robber he saved. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Zena. Maybe you can put it in a different context. Like I saw on the news, like in Florida, burglars broke into a house and the guy shot them. Okay, and in Florida, in the United States, that's the rule. Someone breaks in your house and you have a firearm and you shoot them. Those people breaking into your house, you don't get in trouble for it. But some states up near New York, and you defend yourself, you still will get charged. So if somebody punches you in the face and you hit them back, okay, you'll still get an assault charge. I think that if somebody hits you or breaks in your house, you should be allowed to defend yourself no matter what's going on. Do you agree? If you agree, W's in the chat, right? Do you feel as though you should be able to defend yourself? Okay? Hey, what if metal bat hit Karen and died? Okay, well, you're talking about a metal baseball bat? Yeah, exactly. There you go. W's in the chat. You should be able to defend yourself. All right? So I had a friend, okay, that was on the subway, and some guy randomly came up and punched him, and then he defended himself, okay? And they arrested the guy, and then they also charged him with a battery charge. All right? That is ridiculous, and we're all going to go to court with him, and we're going to protest because you should be able to defend yourself. So that's what I was asking you guys. W's in the chat if you agree, all right? And then Y's in the chat if you don't agree, Yeah, that's crazy and pretty sad. Exactly. That is crazy because, he was defending himself, and now he's getting in trouble for it. You know what I mean? What if a robber versus guy fight? All right, so say up in New York City, okay, someone's trying to rob you, they grab your stuff, you fight back, and the cops come, they'll also charge you too if you hit the person. Okay, and then from getting robbed, also, the cops held the money as evidence, so he didn't even get his money back, okay? He has to wait to go to court, and when the case closes, then he gets it back, which is pretty wild. All right. Crypto coin will never be worth anything. Okay, well, they're utilizing blockchain for a lot. Okay, so they're going to be utilizing, blockchain. Where did the money go? The billions in tariffs. Where is that money? Okay, So they have the money in tariffs, okay, and they're taking and holding on to that money, and they have a panel of people that are going to decide where that money is going to go. Yeah, restaurant prices did go up, but I do see fast food places, okay, having a lot of deals. Like you can get a meal for $5 and stuff like that. So I am seeing prices go down in certain areas. All right, gas is in the same. Yeah, gas price too, okay, is gonna fluctuate, because of where they're getting gas from, and what's going on in the world, okay, because America buying gasoline from other countries, and then right now, import and export issues, or using gasoline that's right from this country, right? So if you think that they should only use gasoline that they harvest from United States in United States, then you say yes and W's in the chat. Why is everything he's doing illegal? Well, I wouldn't say like illegal, all right? When you're president and you're coming in, okay, you're not always going to do everything right, all right? And some things that are done don't show good results right away, So when you do something, it could not show instant results. So same thing with the tariffs. Billions coming in, okay? And they have that money. I think they should be more transparent with the money they spend. Why has he been doing this big tariff thing so he can manipulate the stock market so all his billionaires can make some money? Yeah, so he actually is in, when he was doing the crypto and stuff like that. So now all these companies are utilizing crypto treasuries, and buying cryptocurrencies. The show will crap and leave the Democrats to fix it when they come back to office. Yeah, so you think that after Trump, it's going to be a Democrat next? That can happen, okay? But what you're probably going to see over the next few years, all right, the way the Democrats were acting and Republicans and stuff like that, there's going to be a lot of changes happening, and a lot of different ways they're acting. Okay, you're gonna see a lot of stuff like that. Harold's community to Trump would not let people know Truth Social when he was going to do that. Yeah, I think that they should definitely be more transparent with the American money. Okay, so when they print and they do different things, I think that they should be more transparent with what they do. Right? So that's more, transparency. Okay? Let's see, the Democrats to fix it. Name one successful business. Yeah, so, the businesses that they have, okay? Okay, yeah, I had that message, okay? And then, yeah, so we think that Democrats are going to be coming back to office, right? All right. There's no business being. So, and then what do you think about Elon Musk when he was in Doge and he had access to all this information, okay? And now they're saying that, he took all the information and it's stuck in data centers, So people are thinking that's what happened, and he had access to like the Social Security information, right? So if he ended up seeing all of the, American people going through Social Security, then they would know. But they did find in Social Security that some people were being paid, over 100 years old, 150, 200 years old, all the way back to when, even Social Security, started, okay? So they started the social system for people to pay in while they're working, so that way when they retire, okay, they can have you can have a check. So I think that social system actually works, but maybe they need to like do some kind of adjustments to it, because you're not always going to be 100% and agree with everything, all right? So some things you're like, oh, okay, that's not working, and some things you're like, yeah, And you know, that's pretty much how it happens with everything. You know, you're not always gonna be 100% happy with everything. You know, you got to take the good and bad, and you know, realize it. And like I was saying, some of the things that they did, it takes time. Okay, it takes time for them to you know, it takes time for them to do you know, do certain things. Yes, it takes time for them to do that, right? So that's what we think. Leave the Democrats to fix it. Yeah. People think that Democrats are going to come into the office right after, you know, Trump is in office, right? So that's what we think. What do you think about that? All right. Do you think it's going to be Republican or do you think it's going to be Democrat? And then what kind of changes do you think are going to happen? You know, that's another thing that is, you know, that we think about, right? About the different changes and, you know, stuff like that, right? So, you know, whiling out in, you know, all these YouTube and all these videos I see out here, you know, I'm like, all right, let's see what kind of topics that people can talk about. Double tap the screen, double tap, double tap, double tap. Woo! Let's talk about something that you say, huh? What? Okay. Yes, exactly. So where are you guys from? Because in the United States, it's about 3 a.m. Okay? In the United States, it's about 3 a.m. Okay? Give out or you want to say, you can go ahead and type it in the chat. All right? So we're going to go about whatever people are talking about or what they want to say, typing in the chat. You know? Yes, okay. So that's why I have it up there, you know, spirituality, you know, being spiritual. And we're just going through and what everybody wants to talk about, speak or ask or talk about in the chat. All right. So the last thing that we had somebody talking about, they were talking about that, you know, after Trump, okay, the Democrats are going to come back in office. All right. But what's going to happen, you know? Trump is undoing a lot of stuff that Biden has been doing, especially with the border and all the deportations. What do you guys think about that? What do you think about ICE and what's happening? Do you think they're doing it right? Or what other kind of ways do you think that they should do it? Okay? You know, because now they're just going into all of these jobs and businesses in their houses and they are deporting people and just taking them, right? So now it's making all the illegals, okay, afraid to go to these work, okay? And a lot of these farm areas, all right, are having problems, you know, where they can't get yields from crops. Okay? So let's see. He was talking about the office, and then we're going back here. All right. All right, so let me go here. Huh. Let me go. All right. Okay. Q&A. Okay. And then let's go here. Start a poll. Do you Okay, since everybody's been talking about it, okay, that's why I put the poll up there. Okay, you can hit, do you support Trump? Because it seems like a lot of people were talking about politics. A lot of people talking about politics. Okay, and then also, let's see, oh, new voters can vote, okay. Okay, support Trump. All right, that's what I was asking people. Okay. Top fans. Top fans. I just wanted to see, because everybody was talking about politics, you know? That's what I wanted to see. People that were talking about politics. You know, people that were talking about politics and all that kind of stuff. We wanted to see what was happening there. All right. So yeah, okay. Well, no votes on that, you know, so you don't have to vote if you don't, you know, want to talk about, you know, Trump. You can put whatever you want in the chat, ask a question or what you want to talk about, all right? You got somebody here that's very knowledgeable in science, and I really wanted to talk about maybe UAPs, quantum mechanics, okay? Quantum chips in the computers that they're making, AI, how fast it's growing, okay? Artificial intelligence, all right? And all this kind of stuff. Because right now, you know, I'm doing some work programming AI, okay? So what we do is we use 4 different kind of AIs like Grok, okay, Chat GPT, and you know, we input questions and coding questions and all that kind of stuff, and then we review the answers, and we you know, adjust them and see, because sometimes there's errors and they're not always right. But what I see though for AI is, you know, like GPUs, they have these big mega centers, okay? And they're running off of massive energy. And you see the one, you know, in Texas, that's for Grok, okay? And they're getting bigger and bigger, okay? These AIs, all right? But eventually, in these warehouses, they'll have a bunch of robotics doing the jobs, like say building cars on a neural network, so they can all be connected, right? So do you think that's good or do you think that's bad? Okay? Some people I was talking to were saying that if there's a bunch of AI controlled robotics in warehouses like building cars, all right? What if somebody wanted to be malicious, okay? And they can control all the robots, you know what I'm saying? Or if AI becomes sediment, you know, if you think, therefore I am, all right? So when I was also inputting AI and doing the programming, okay, and then they were actually pushing the question of God and grand creation and all that kind of stuff, all right? This technology was given to us, okay, by just use your imagination, all right? Because now, okay, with quantum computers and then AI, when they start using quantum computers with the AI, okay, just think of what's going to happen and how fast things can produce, okay? So say in the pharmaceutical industry, right, utilizing AI, okay, they can actually test medications, come up with different molecules much faster than they ever have. But the problem with pharmaceutical companies is, say they have a pill that cures something or fixes something, okay? They don't want to release it right away because of making money. You get what I'm saying? All right? So say somebody has, I don't know, COPD, and they come out and they figure out a medication that helps the lungs and it heals it, okay? And then they also have medications that just help you breathe better, all right? Like now, okay? They wouldn't give out the medication that heals the lungs because then it will be healing a lot of people and they wouldn't be making money off those other medications. And you could think about that, right? And then I also been seeing a lot of commercials that talk about medications that people can take to help them not get like HIV, all right? Which I'm wondering, why are there so many commercials on regular TV talking about that? People taking pills, okay, that stops them from getting HIV, all right? Is that for people that are really sexually active, you know? What I think is people taking that pill, okay, they're thinking probably that more people that take that pill, it will stop the spread, you know? So I just want to know what you think about that, the medication and AI, okay? Because right now, when we're doing and helping programming AI, okay, we're seeing the responses that it gives, okay? Doing community notes, okay? And then having collaboration with the other programmers. And then when we see the responses, okay, we check, 5 different responses and we see if there's any errors, what's wrong, what could be fixed. And sometimes the AI just gives you more information, than needed, stuff like that, right? So right now I use Grok, right? I think Grok is like the best one out there, okay? I think Grok is the best one out there. All right. Okay. All right. So let me see here. Share with your audience. Okay. So let's go to X. Okay. All right, let me see here. Let me try that again. I don't know why, it was saying that. All right. We want to see what's going on here. Okay. So we can actually share with audience. Let me go back to X. You're live. Okay, so I don't know why it's not doing X for me properly. Let me see. Let me try that, right? Okay, so then it's not really showing me too much for X, right? Chat GBT, Grok. Okay. All right, and so I don't know why it's going back like that, but let's see. Can it actually show? Let's see if I do this. Start a poll. Okay. And then what do we have here? Top messages. Show messages, okay. Alright, live chat, okay. And then let's see what we have here. Community moderation. Alright, message delay, lock words, community defaults, and then chat on. Anyone? Okay. So that's what we were looking at. Oh yeah. Hit those hearts, right? Yeah, so that's what we were talking about before, okay? You know, because people came in and they were talking about a lot of politics, all right? But, you know, we're just looking through the chat, okay? So anybody that comes in, you could double tap, okay? And you just put whatever questions or whatever you want to talk about in the chat, you know? Why not? How are you feeling? What are you doing? You know, stuff like that. We just want to see and we want to know, right? And we can show, okay, you know, right now, working out in Dubai, you know, in the, you know, you know, in the rooms out here in Dubai. You see them? Okay, yep, you see, out here in, out here in Dubai, you know, doing some programming work for AI. You know, AI is gonna be a big thing, right? So that's probably what I want to, you know, we want to discuss more about AI. Hit those hearts. Let me see those hearts. Thumbs up. Let me see them flying. You know, it's cute on that. Okay. So we got to show you, you know, all that kind of stuff, right? And, you know, just being out here and, you know, the way they're doing and programming AI, okay? That you can use for a lot of different stuff, okay, nowadays. And from what I can say and what I'm seeing, okay, before stuff is released to the public, all right, AI is going to be everywhere in the future, okay? So we got some other programmers, you know. So you think the stuff that we've been programming and working on AI, you know, the way that AI is thinking and the stuff that's going to be released to the public is going to be, you know, a game changer, right? It's going to be insane, okay, with the stuff that they're actually going to have AI doing, all right, when it comes to, you know, financial markets and all that kind of stuff. Now, they have the bill, okay, for stable coins. What's going to happen throughout the year, through the end of the year into next year, there's going to be a lot of money flowing out of banks into stable coins, okay? And the banks are going to be able to use stable coins, all right? So that's going to make, okay, money flow out of the banks into these stable coins, because right now, when you are using the bank, okay, or you have checks like that, you have to wait for it to clear, okay? And then when you're wiring money, all that kind of stuff, all right? So the blockchain actually fixes a lot of those problems, okay? So going digital, you know, is going to be like, you know, the way to go, all right? Right now, credit card processing systems, okay, are going to start using blockchain too. Because think about it. Right now, credit card processing systems, you know, are all separate, right? So they can't go back and view information. Now, when they're using stablecoin, okay, and they're using blockchain, okay, they're going to be able to track stuff much better, okay, you know, take care of financial situations much better. So it's going to fix a lot of issues and a lot of problems, okay? And if you agree with that too, you could double tap, okay? Or if you have something to say about that, okay, you just type it in the chat, you know? You just type it in the chat. Type it in the chat, okay? Because that's what we're going to be seeing happening, you know, in you know, in the future here. You know, we're gonna see a lot of that. All right, and then that's why I was like, okay, we could talk about, you know, AI, right? Let me see. Okay, share with audience. Okay. All right, we want to share with audience. Okay, they will show this. Okay, so we have that, and we have that. Okay. All right. So anybody else that comes in the chat, you know, to ask questions, you could type it in the chat, right? Let me see here. We can type it in the chat. Okay. And oh, this is empty, right? Oh, okay. I'm gonna have some lemonade. All right. I'll have some lemonade. All right. I'll have some lemonade. And we'll talk about, you know, what different stable coin people want and stuff like that. Okay. Here. What happened? yelling and fighting. Yelling and fighting out there. No, we just staying in this hotel in Dubai. And, I was just looking, people, bugging out outside. Yelling, yelling at the, yelling at the sky, right? Yelling at the sky for people, right? Yelling. Chips are right here, barbecue chips are right here. Okay. Oh, we got Christmas bed over too. Okay. All right. Well, you could just type in the chat too. Double tap too. Double tap, double tap. Double tap the screen. And ask any questions that you want. Yep. So you can type anything that you want to ask or talk about in the chat, in the messages. So go ahead, let's see some stuff. Let's see some conversational stuff. Let's see some intelligent writing and messages. Let's see what you got to say. You got a voice, drop a message. Drop a message, and also double tap the screen. But I want to see your messages in the chat, okay? So Mark was the last one dropping a bunch of info. And now we're waiting for the next person to come in and drop the chat. Okay? All messages. Okay, chat filter. So I turned off the chat filter. Okay. And let's see what else we got here. Okay. All right. Okay. So, yep. Next person talking in the chat. Type your messages, what you want to talk about, what you want to ask, because we put a lot of information. Or what do you want to talk about? What do you want to ask? You know, we got the chat right there. Okay, we were talking with Mark before, but you know, I want to hear some stuff from you. What do you got to say today? What do you have to say? Also, double tap the screen. All right. We got people coming in and out, but you see it. Here is a place that you can talk about anything. We want to see your chat. So let's go, chat. Let's go, chat. Hit the next chat on the piece. And also Mark coming in the chat before. All right. We have Mark coming in the chat before. All right, let's see here. Okay. All right. So we going with anything you got to say. Into the messages and chilling on your time zone. Also, you can drop where you're from, wherever you're from. Drop it in the chat. All right. Waiting for okay, let's see. We got D coming through to drop that convo in the chat. Okay. Let's see, this is slow. We'll do this in a minute, okay? Let's see. Okay. All right, what do you got? Okay. Welcome to the community. Hey, you're back, Xena. Yeah, we're just, people coming to chat, whatever people want to talk about. We were talking about politics before, you know? What if there were a car crash? Yeah, I was thinking about EV vehicles are much heavier, right? So what if, all of a sudden, there's more and more EV vehicles, okay? They got to make them more, make sure they're safety because, a heavier car in an accident, right? You got to think about that. Heavier cars in an accident. Okay, let's see here. Is it gonna come up? Or did I type it wrong? Okay, hold on. Okay, that's not coming up. I guess I have to type. Okay, let me see. Okay. All right. What if the rage driver and punch brake car window? Okay. So yeah, there's a lot of, rage driving, okay? And so if somebody ends up, getting out of the car and punching and breaking the person's window, okay? They can get charged with vandalism and stuff like that. But you'll see a lot of, rage driving and stuff like that. People get out of cars and, people have firearms and all that kind of stuff. So, that's why I just, on the road and if somebody is, driving crazy or whatever, I just try to just go about my day and ignore, that person that's, doing rage driving, right? Right? You agree? You agree? Rage driving, yeah, welcome. Oh, hi, Jay, say hi. Xena. Chatbot. Yeah, I was thinking, about how chatbots, all the different chatbots, how they have out there. And, the chatbots are good. And then they also use agents, chat agents to do all kinds of stuff utilizing AI, And then that's what we're like really looking at in the programming area, programming wise, So chatbot. Yeah, Roblox, it's, AI says, talk about a lot about Roblox. Well, yeah, Roblox has a lot of people on it, and the way Roblox is, Roblox is people make little games, and you can actually make your own little games and make money off of it. You know, there's all kinds of different stuff that you can do on Roblox. But then you also saw, like, predators and stuff on Roblox, and stuff like that. So you just gotta be safe out there, and especially if you have young, children and all that kind of stuff, you just gotta monitor what they're doing. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, Roblox is very popular, and a lot of people are playing it. Okay, and I think it's just gonna get bigger. Okay, and there's gonna be bigger and better games that are gonna be out there. What kind of games do you play now on Roblox? Like what is really popular right now? Maybe I could even think about doing a stream playing some Roblox games. So what kind of Roblox games do you like out there? Because there's a lot of different Roblox games that are out there. And even when I talk to the AI chatbots and stuff, it even suggests, it says, talk about Roblox. Yeah, a lot of people love it. And you know what? I didn't start playing it until my stepdaughter started playing it, and then I was playing it with her. We were playing like this Dave Granny game, and then we were playing this other game where you have houses. You know? So yeah, Roblox very popular. Yeah, BTC crew. You like Roblox too? Yeah, hi, shout out. I hope y'all had a good weekend. Everybody's going back to school. Okay? Take what you can get in, from school. I wish they taught a lot of different good things in school, but, it's hard the way they teach in school. I'm gonna do half of it, and then I'll do what I did last time, the same thing, okay? Yeah, I remember you too, BTC crew, when we were doing the crypto stuff, and then I was telling you about DeFi and all that. You know, how'd you end up making out? How'd you end up making out on all the DeFi, right? Hey, I will tell you a joke. What if there were Karen grab you, but a cop caught Karen? Huh? What does that mean? Hey, I will tell you a joke. What if their Karen grabbed you, but cop caught Karen? Oh, okay. So what do you mean, like a Karen, like a Karen grab me, mess with me, and then the cops had to come, or what does that mean? A Karen, right? Isn't a Karen like somebody that's like right? Um, J Love. When someone says somebody's a Karen, yeah. Isn't that like somebody that's like that's mean, right? Yeah. So yeah, okay, so yeah, Karen is somebody that's mean. Okay, so yeah, so what if a Karen, so like somebody that was crazy and mean, right? Okay, so if that person like, did something to you or hurt you or whatever, and like it was on camera or you recorded it or whatever, okay? If they grabbed you and you fought back, okay? And depending on what state you are, like New York or something like that, you could still get charged for assault. So you would get locked up also. So basically what they tell you to do is, if somebody's doing that, they tell you, call the cops and wait for the cops, But certain states like down south, like Florida or whatever, someone breaks in your house, okay? You have the right, okay, to defend yourself. All right, but other states like Pennsylvania, New Jersey, right, and all those other states, they don't, they don't let you defend yourself. No, you can't defend yourself. You get in trouble too. So you can't defend yourself in some of those certain areas, which is wild. Why would you not be able to defend yourself? You know, that's, you should be able to defend yourself. But still, you get in trouble. You know, you get in trouble if you defend yourself. You get in trouble. You know what I mean? Which is sucks. So there's that answer to that, right? But it also depends on what area and state you're in, because they all have their different, different regulations and different laws and all that. All right, that was nothing. That was just good. So they all have all their different, laws and state laws and all that kind of stuff that they have. That's part of whatever they have going on. So. Yep. So they have Karen. What if a Karen did that to you? What if a Karen said that to you? I don't. That's that's a question. Right? Yep. Exactly what you were saying too. Okay, yeah, and then so far on the votes too, people support Trump. You know, BTC crew, you support Trump. Right? Oh, okay, yeah. I get it. I understand. That's why I saw you vote. Hey, bro, Wild Eye. Shout out Wild Eye Wonder Official. We're just talking about different topics. Okay, we talked about politics, and then we talk about it. Yep. Say hi, say hi. Shout out. Say hi to you. Okay, man, I love double tap, double tap, double tap. You say hi. You can also type message anything you want to talk about too. Just type it in the chat. Yeah, right now we're doing some AI programming, and we're over right outside Dubai Marina. So we're in a motel outside Dubai Marina, and we're doing some programming across different AIs, right? Yeah, yep, the AI. Okay, so they give you AI. So if you use like Grok and then use ChatGPT and you ask questions, and then both of them give you different answers. What you do is you go through and you fact check and you give community notes, okay, on what you think can be improved and all that kind of stuff. That's AI programming. And then AI is really moving into, AI is really moving into video and stuff like that. AI is moving into video and all kinds of stuff like that. Yeah. Wow. You know, the string in this the backpack, I had to pull it back through because I guess there was like a, you know, like a hole in the little ring wasn't coming through right. Can't get that fixed, okay. Alright. Let's see it back. He wants me to see if I can do something, whatever. And I got him, and then he gave me, or, because he got something because he wants to make money or whatever. So he gave me money. Or let's close that. That's why I put it in here. Okay. Okay. Oh, New York City. New York City. On travel. On travel. You know, from New York City. New York City. New York City. I'm from New York City. New York City. Here. Okay, these are not even open yet.